True hero. What is a true hero? According to the dictionary, a hero is a noun, a person who is admired for their qualities of courage, outstanding achievements, or noble qualities. For example, Rosa Parks and Ruby Bridges. Rosa Parks became famous for standing up for Black people during a bus ride. Ruby was famous for being the first Black to study at a white school. But not all heroes are famous. Some heroes are unknown to the world. My great-grandmother is my hero. She is 97 years old and was born in February 5th, 1921. She is my mom's grandmother. I know she's not famous, not rich, and definitely not perfect, but that's why I chose her as my hero. Here are the reasons why she inspires me as a true hero. Number 1, she is there for me. Ever since I was little, ever since I was born, my grandmother would be the one who would take care of me. Since my parents were always busy with work, they couldn't pick me up from school, kindergarten, and she lived probably 500 meters away from my kindergarten. She would basically walk to my kindergarten and bring me back to her house because no one was at my parents' house and no one would be taking care of me during my parents' working period. So she was always the one who was there for me after school. She made sure I had food to eat. She was genuinely like a big part of my life because I've lived with her ever since I was basically a little girl until my teenage years. Number 2, she is caring and loving. Because of her experiences versus mine, I see her as overprotective sometimes. Like when I was little, I would go to play outside with the neighbors and she would call me in every 5 minutes because during the Khmer Rouge, which she lived during the Khmer Rouge, which was basically a Cambodian civil war, there would be a lot of children kidnapping, and she genuinely cared about my well-being that she had to make a little excuse to call me back inside. Like, oh, Natalie, do you want some water? Do you want some bread? And she would always make sure that I was safe. Number 3, brave. Like I mentioned earlier, she lived through Khmer Rouge. She lived before Khmer Rouge, lived throughout the Khmer Rouge, and lived after the Khmer Rouge. Khmer Rouge was a very hard time where people had to do labor work and a lot of smart people were executed. She didn't have much, but she managed to survive the Khmer Rouge healthy, and all her kids also survived. We don't get along all the time, but my mom always told me to look at other people's perspective. And when I look back at it from her perspective, her life was hard. Not only is she basically an orphan child, she lost her parents when she was young, so she basically had to grow up and she had to be the adult figure in her family. She had to take care of her siblings. She basically had to strive to survive. And she survived 48 years of war without being executed. Not only that, she broke her hip. Mind you, she was 97 years old, and for her to be going through that constant pain, it's just amazing. And every moment of that, she kept smiling. She stayed strong. It wasn't easy. Also, she had to witness her daughter's death. One of my great aunts passed away, which is basically my great grandmother's daughter. She passed away before my great grandmother did. And for her to go through that trauma of her own daughter dying before she did was just really, really hard for her. And like I said, she just kept smiling and kept staying optimistic. The world needs true heroes like her. Hardworking, caring, brave, heroes that can encourage others, can change others' lives for the better. This is why my great grandmother is my true hero.